Hi folks, this is Sami from Ensiferum and you are listening to What's Metal. Stay tuned.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time, Sami, to talk to us today. We're in Stuttgart today. It's the Longhorn, which is a very traditional venue in Germany. We're looking forward to the show, obviously. How's the tour going so far? You're touring with Dark Tranquillity, yeah? Quite an extensive one this time, right?
Yes, it's a pleasure to be back in LKA Longhorn. A very legendary venue, you know, there are posters all the way from 90s and it's really an honor to be part of a line of history, you know, of bands playing here. And yeah, we played here before. And yeah, the tour with Dark Tranquillity, it's very long, it's like 2 months long, with only one real day off that we already had in Vienna. And yes, I had a hangover, shame on me. And yeah, the tour is going very, very smoothly. In the beginning, there was extra excitement in the air when we played in England and Ireland because of the storms. They had to cancel some ferries, so it was like a little bit exciting to see if we can make it to the next venue because because you have to, you know, we have a tour bus, not a tour boat. Tour ship, so it's like, okay, we are stuck here. If there's no ferry, then there's no ferry. And it was also after the last show in England, next day we had to be in I think it was Belgium, and it was not 100% sure that we could make it because the ferries were not running all the time. So, but after that, everything has been like a walk in a park. And anyway, UK was super. The gigs were super fantastic, but this was just a little bit of extra, excitement.
Well, I mean, considering your image, I would have thought that you would be, skilled enough to row a boat across the British Sea there. No.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, we should have considered that.
Yeah. Actually, I lived in Ireland for many years. The local promoter is a friend of mine. Yeah. And he was very much looking forward to bringing the tour over, but then he actually got COVID, so he couldn't attend the show. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure you didn't meet him in person, actually.
Yeah, we know.
The current album, Thalassic, I think it was about 3 years in the making, if I look at the kind of like band history in terms of, from time from the previous release, right? Yeah. So then COVID struck, so obviously you couldn't really promote it live, So, I mean, what does it feel like to now have to tour material that is probably already like 4 years old? Some of the songs probably are, no?
Yeah, well, the thing is that for us, the composing process is very, very slow. Like, I would say the raw ideas might be even 5-6 years old at this point. I think the longest period we used for a song from, the raw idea until it's recorded was 9 years. So it takes time. But anyway, with Thalassic, we had like very extensive world tour plans. Because it was released exactly when on the spring when COVID hit in the spring. But we made a decision with Metal Blade that we're gonna release it anyway because many artists made the decision to postpone the release of the album, which I get because a lot of promoters also want to have band when they have something new released. So we took kind of risk there. Okay, we're gonna release it now, and hopefully when things get normal, promoters still say, okay, you're still a valid band with this album. And it actually feels really good because obviously we play some songs from the new album now and people had time to listen to the songs and I guess find their favorite songs. So you can really see in shows that people know the lyrics by heart and there are mosh pits and crowd surfing and everything. So it feels good and it's nice to play the songs live. We're already working with the next album. I think we already have quite a few songs. Some are, I would say, we still need to do the vocal arrangements, but they're like ready, pretty much. And the raw ideas we have way more than for the whole next album. So after we get back from the tour, we're gonna focus on that again. We were planning to compose on the road, but it's really hard. We only did it once so that it actually worked out. But it just doesn't work for us because for us the composing process is it's a band thing. We want to sit in a rehearsal room so we actually have all the drums and everything and we can try ideas, and that's why it takes time. It would be so much easier if Markus, the founder of the band, because he's still the main composer, if he would just bring like ready songs, like, and you play like this, you play like this, but that's. I get it that it works for some bands, but for us, we're all ambitious musicians also, and we have all like a lot of ideas. So that's the beauty of us working as a band, that everybody have their fingerprint in the music, so to say. So that's why I guess we need to wait until we're back home, and then we're gonna continue. But actually, when we get back home the next weekend, we already start the festivals. So.
You apparently are busy, yeah. That's great, and the band seems to still have the enthusiasm, yeah. Because that's what I thought when Thalassic was released, the reviews were very positive, all across the board, which honestly was not the case for the couple of albums before that. I found at least in Germany, I would say. So there were kind of like mixed responses. So I thought, okay, you know, what must that feel like for a band if you're full of like enthusiasm and maybe adrenaline to go on the road? The album is out, but you can't do anything really, right? I mean, did that at least at some point somehow cause some struggle in the band, or we said, oh yeah, fuck it, we'll just go later?
Well, there's nothing. There's no point to stress or be angry about stuff that's not in your hands. So, of course, we were pissed, but you know what can you do? It's a fucking pandemic. So, and to be fair, our work was delayed, and we had to find out ways to cope. Like I took a normal day job and so on for a couple of years, and but you know, I know people who lost lives for this, so it's stupid to complain. You know, we still had the album out, we stayed healthy, so we're here now. So it was just we lost few months actually in the period of the whole band's lifespan that we couldn't tour. And actually this time what was good about it is that Markus, he finally got himself to the 21st century. He learned how to record home demos with a laptop and everything. So instead of having like zillion raw ideas in his phone, and then we were in rehearsal, I'm like, okay, where was it? And he's searching, it was 137. No, 138 was the good one. And now he actually knows how to record stuff at home, so the demos are much better, and he can try all the harmonies much more in advance. And so there was also some good stuff coming out. And Pete and Janne started the idea that they had for a long time, this black metal band. So they're doing that, and they already have like songs out of it. And yeah, I did my something I've been planning for fucking 20 years, to have some kind of industrial thing, just solo stuff. And I combined that to learn how to mix myself, just to, you know, I would say all these also, all the good will come when we go to studio with Ensiferum next time. Like everybody got some fresh ideas, maybe got like some ideas out of their mind that couldn't fit for Ensiferum, and now it's like the table is much more cleaner, and everybody's, there's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of ambition, especially that we got Pekka now in the band, the new keyboard player, because he's an excellent singer. So that gives much more alternatives how to arrange songs. Because let's be honest, me and Markus were not, you know, singers in that way. Like, you know, we can shout and scream and make noise, but Pekka is a professional singer, so of course that takes the band's music to completely the next level.
I think that shines really. That shines through on the album, really. And I said it before, because you know the reviews for the previous albums were kind of like mixed. But I suppose it's more than just him, right? I mean, has something changed in the composing process, or was it just, you know, hey, we had better ideas this time around? Or are you personally more satisfied with the new album than with the ones before? Do you look back at them critically in any way?
Always, yeah, of course. Even for Thalassic, I could say things that we could have done better. I think it's only normal, but then again, it's already done. I'm referring to myself earlier, like if it's not in your hands anymore, don't stress about it. I mean, the album is done, then you go forward. But yeah, I would say the stars were aligned. Because an album is always the way I see it, it's always an image, especially when it's like a band making music. And the same thing if it's like one individual making music. It reflects certain period of time in this band's or person's life, what they went through this time, and ideas, and of course everything reflects the music. And if there's maybe like two paths, we were touring a lot. Maybe that I like the album, but I would say if we would have had more time to really sit down and rehearse them, we might have done some arrangements a bit differently. Like that's something I can see now, aftermath. But I'm still very proud of all the albums because, yeah, it reflects a certain period of in a band's history, and there's the thing is that we can stand behind every album, that we knew we did our best, and that's all you can do. And there's never a like 100% ideal situation. I guess when you're, millionaires in a band, you can just take all the time you need, and no one needs to stress about anything like bills or anything in everyday life. But then again, if you check the bands that are very successful, they don't always come up with really good stuff either. So I guess it's not that black and white. I guess also when you have to struggle a bit and you have to, this is something I also like, that deadlines are also your friends sometimes. If you have all the unlimited time, all the unlimited resources, then you might end up, no, there's a new amp coming, let's record all the guitars again, and let's go to a different studio to mix this, and blah, blah, blah. Then it's an endless path. Maybe sometimes you need a deadline, you need a producer to say like, this is good enough, this is as good as it can get in this moment with this band. And bam, let's go forward. Next song, next track, and da-da-da-da. And
it's kind of like a situation where perfect would get into the way of very good. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I would say I'd rather make 50 albums during my lifetime that are, in average, like 95% good, than to one album that's like 100%. Because the main thing for us is to play live. Anyway, that's what we love. I love working in studio, especially with my solo thing. I love fooling around home alone and trying new mixing things and so on. I like that a lot, but still the kind of the best thing in life at the moment is playing live, and you can really sense on this tour that people have missed live music, and it's crazy that we played now a couple of shows that like in small, yesterday in Audincourt, something like this in France, a village of less than 30,000 people. It was packed, the venue, but you could see that there were so many people who had no idea what the bands were, what bands they were playing, or how to actually even behave in a metal show. And when they saw like mosh pits, they were like, what's going on here? But they were there because there's live music, but in the end, they were like hands up, shouting and having good time. So it's so awesome to see that people are really enjoying it, the music, and having with their friends, going out and having beers, and it feels good after 2 years of desperation.
That's actually good to hear, and what you're referring to, that let's say younger people in the audience don't necessarily know how to behave. I mean, for them, a period of 2 years without gigs, I mean, they have never seen it. Yeah, they've never been there. And like last summer, I met Thomas Jensen, one of the organizers of Wacken Open Air. At the beach, actually, in the north of Germany, and we were chatting about, what's going to happen next year, like this year, and he said, oh yeah, there will still be restriction, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know how we pull it off. Financially, it's not a big issue, but he was afraid about the younger generation being out of touch, with the older people, and not catching up, right, because they fill their time with alternative interests, let's say. Online stuff and so on, but this is really reassuring to hear from you, But let's stay with Telasic for a second. No, that's fine. I mean, you're probably the most talkative Finnish person that I've ever met, actually.
I get carried away always. That's a bit of a problem. I hate, because I do most of the interviews. Like when I was doing the promo for Telasic, what I actually did, I had my headset, my headphones and my phone with me, and we were doing like Skype interviews, and I I could walk like 20 kilometers just by doing interviews, like walking around Helsinki and talking same time. And then I got like from my label and management, like, okay, here's 15 minutes, and there's next in 15 minutes. And I was like, 15 minutes is not enough. Like, give them half an hour at least, because if someone wants to talk about our music, it's an honor, because it's something that you shouldn't take as a privilege, as a given. Thank you. See, I haven't spoken English in a long time now. I'm fucking lost with words. But yeah, as a given, that's when you were a kid with your band recording C-cassette demos or something, and if you managed to get an interview or whatever, someone asked about your band, you were like, that was the biggest passion in your life. You were so honored that, hey, this person wants to know something. And that's the attitude I want to have still today. There are millions of bands going on all the time, and new good ones coming and so on. So if there's someone taking time to talk for me and about our music, it's
really good. Yeah, I really appreciate this. So, but now, the classic. Yeah. So actually what I find about the album is that it flows really well, from song to song. But I have to say, I have to make it past Rum, Women, Victory, because this is a song that I don't like really. It's too much party, drinking metal. Yeah, I like it a bit more serious. But once I'm past that song, I think it flows extremely well. So how do I have to think about the process, or like how you discuss in which sequence you put the songs on the record? Because there must be discussions about this, or you're not just throwing them on, right?
No. Of course, it's thought through. And it's funny that you mentioned it, because I remember I was a small kid and I was asking my big brother about the same question. I was really like maybe 10, and we were talking about the Iron Maiden album. And I was like, how do they make it? Like, is it like they record the songs and that's it, or do they plan like what is the first? And he's like, obviously, like there's a flow. Like it start from somewhere, it goes somewhere. Like But yeah, so of course we talk about it, and the rhythm kind of the album needs to flow. I guess it will be even more crucial if it will be like a concept album, because then it would be like theoretically like one big story. Then it would be even more crucial. But of course we think about that. It's not like a similar beats per minute song next to each other, and so there's like flow, some kind of dynamic, and usually the Mammoth song is in the end, because now I can reveal, we were actually thinking about we could even start with Cold Northland. That would have been quite a move. But then again, one of my all-time favorite bands, Nightwish, they had on Dark Passion Play, they had this gigantic song in the beginning, and the Poet and the, what the fuck is it? Poet and the Pen.
Poet and the Fuck, maybe.
Yeah, something like this. Yeah, but yeah, sometimes it works. But then the intro became so pompous, and it started slow. We're like, no, we cannot have like another intro. Like, we need to like have a punch in the face, and it was like, okay, there's Rum, Women, Victory. So
it's good to have that out of the way for me anyway. Exactly. Like I probably wouldn't enjoy the album so much if it would pop up somewhere in the middle, right? Because then you have to run and skip, right? All right, no, cool. So actually, it's probably more a question for Markus, who isn't here now. But when he founded Ensiferum, was it clear from day one in what direction the band should go? Would you know that? To what extent did he have a vision that he wanted to clearly follow to shape this?
Yes. Well, I talked with him a lot, even before I was in a band, about this kind of stuff. And he had the idea of something over melodic. And funny thing is that Dark Tranquillity was one of the bands that inspired him. And also for me, Dark Tranquillity was the first metal band with harsh vocals that I liked. That's kind of funny to be on a tour with them again. We did a short tour with them like 10 years ago. But yeah, that was it. He liked the power of metal. He liked power metal also, but this energy. But he wanted to have that, but combined with melodies. Like that time, there were a lot of thrash metal and speed metal, and it was more about like riffs. And for Markus, he still does love like folk music around the world. Well, a lot of Scandinavian and Irish. But back in the days when there were these things called CDs. When we went to new country, I remember going out with him, searching for record stores and buying traditional music like from Japan and China and where the fuck were we? In South America. We also went to get something. And so he was always driven by melodies. So it all, that's the cornerstone of the music, like the over melodic stuff. Because melodies are that make us usually feel things, the emotions. Because of course you can have like very strong riffs. This is not black and white. You could have something simple and like Rammstein, something, and there's a lot of power in that also. But it's different. The emotions are different than when you have some beautiful or heroic melody. It takes you in the gates of Mordor, the fight, Sauron. It takes you somewhere completely else. And of course, it's always subjective. There's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong interpretation. That's actually why I didn't like to explain my lyrics at some point at all. With Talasik, we made the completely opposite. We explained everything because that was the point, like to have theme album and explain where all the lyrics came from. But let's see, maybe next time we'll do something different again. But anyway, yeah, it started from that. He loved folk music, he loved powerful metal, and he wanted to have a band of his own. He was playing covers, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, whatever, with his friends, and yeah, guys were fucking 15, and here we are. So he was just so determined that he wants to have a band that will become something. And he still has, especially when he gets a little bit of alcohol, and we listen sometimes some new demo, he's like, for fuck's sake, I can see already people singing in Wacken. He already sees like this fucking world is gonna explode when we get this song done. And I love that there's this genuine passion and also pride. I mean, of course, like I said, you need to be humble that people, because no one owns you anything as a musician. That's something I think many forget, especially if they get a little bit of success. They kind of think that like fans own you something, that they own, that they need to like your new music or whatnot. No one fucking owns you anything. But then again, artists don't own anyone either anything. So that's also like something that fans might forget, that like, I like this music better. Your first album was the best, and blah, 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 blah. Listen to the first album, be happy. That's there. No one's taking that away. So when these two match, when you find there's good music coming out, someone is proud of, and there's people who like to enjoy it, that's like, whoa, win-win. I totally forgot what we were talking about. And
we are meandering along your line of thoughts here. No, it was about the founding days, really. Yeah, and the vision. Now, like next one would also be more kind of like a nerdy thing. I'm not sure if you can answer this. If you look at the first at the 3 demos that were released, like each of them has a different logo. The first one has a kind of like already quite stylish, nice, typical metal logos, and the second one is more like very clean. And the third one is the actual current logo, right? What's the history behind the different logos? Like who made them, and how did you end up with the one that you're using now?
To be honest, the 2 first one I don't know. The third one is made by our friend. He's a graphic designer. He's made some shirt designs for us. He has worked with many bands for logos and shirts, and I think even album covers or something. He's a really cool guy. He was actually on one tour, I think it was like 2007. He was actually on tour with us. And that was very dangerous because he likes alcohol. And we did also at that time, much more. So, oi. Good times. Yeah, his nickname is Tuoppi. Super cool guy. And yeah, I don't know what else to tell. I guess his old friend from Markus, they knew he's good graphically, and he made the logo, and here we are. It's still there. And yeah, there's the traditional Batman silhouette, like all the logos have.
All right, so Ensiferum. So the meaning of the band name is something like sword bearer, right? Yeah. So I was thinking about maybe like a Wacken event, like a battle of the bands, but with swords, right? Yeah. So I'm not sure if you guys can wield swords, and if there would be a battle of the band, like you guys against, for example, Amon Amarth, for example, who would win the on stage battle of the bands with swords?
The thing is that we actually just met Johan in Ireland. They're super nice guys, and we toured with them. And we talked so many times when we met on the road, like on some festivals, that we need to do something together again, but it never fucking matches. They're always like someone is in studio or whatever. So the thing is that Johan is in really good shape nowadays. I think he's doing, well, his wife, they're doing yoga and all kind of, I think MMA also. So and he's a tall guy, so I wouldn't dare to challenge him in a fist fight, but with the sword, well, especially our Markus, he's in good condition also. He runs like 21-kilometer jogs like many times a week, and crazy. Sorry, I'm getting too serious here. I think we would, lower a sword, shake hands, and drink some meat or vodka with the guys. I think it would end up to that.
Yeah, I was hoping for bloodshed now, but I won't get that.
We had something similar as like at some point about Finnish folk metal bands, like who would win. There were like Ensiferum, Fintroll, Turisas, and Korpiklani, and we were like, okay, first of all, Korpiklani and Fintroll, they would be passed out before the fight would start. So it would be just us and Turisas, and we get along so well also. And they probably would, because at some point they had sauna on their stage. I don't know if you remember back in 2005. That was a really cool part of the show. So then we said, they probably would be in sauna, so the winner would be us. So
good stuff. So if you were to meet a person that likes metal but doesn't know your band, and you could command them to buy 3 of your albums, which 3 would you pick?
To be completely honest, depends of the age of this person. Young fella. Because I have to say, I was talking with Pedro from A8P Reacts, this YouTube channel. I don't know if you know. They're Canadian. It's father and son. It's a really cool idea, and they've been doing it for years. Well, anyway, Pedro is pretty much my age, and we were talking about things, and we're talking about like old stuff that we grew up with, and we're cherishing a lot, and these old albums, and when you play that stuff to kids today, they're like, that sounds shit. That sounds like shitty demo, because they're so used to having this so clear and bombastic, and unfortunately also like Pro Tools, dig, metal. Everything is in sync. Everything is corrected with computers. Yeah. So when you play them something from early '80s, even though it's very tight in that era, if you think about how it was recorded, what were the recording facilities, you had to record like one take or something like this. So even though I like the first album a lot, I wouldn't say the first album because the sound might be a bit weird for a kid. But then again, it might be something different. Once again, I'm too serious about this. I would say Thalassic, definitely. Let's say the first album anyway, so they see where the starting point was. And something in between. Maybe Victory Songs. Would have been my pick as well. Yeah, because I would say that was something. I joined just before that. Well, it came out 2007. I joined 2004, 2005. At that point, the band was so full of this outrageous ambition, like, you know, we're gonna fucking show the world. There was nothing holding back, and that's when folk metal was starting to bloom. And there were like tour offers coming all the time, and festivals for every fucking weekend. There was like nothing can hold us back. It was really not arrogant, but we believed in our music like 100%. We didn't even think about anything. Because of course, the more you are in the business, you are so you see the business side, and that's, well, I told you Nightwish is one of my all-time favorite band. I followed them since the beginning. I think the first time I saw them was '98 or something like this. And Tuomas said it, the main guy said it. Well, they had this End of Innocence theme at some point, and he's been talking about a lot of that like the innocence kind of gets lost if you're like too deep in the business side in music, and that's what I really respect about him as a musician, as a composer. Well, you can hear that there are some songs are very popish if you think about the structure and so on, but there's actually nothing wrong with pop music. Pop music has shaped the world, and thinking of people, you know, you can reach masses with pop music. I mean, metal, no matter how great it is, it's still marginal music, and like folk metal is the marginal music of the marginal music. So, of course, our music, I know it's important to many people around the world, but like this pop music has, well, music in general has huge power. And Jimi Hendrix also said huge responsibility. So what do you tell the kids and the listeners? Anyway, yeah, I really respect Tuomas's attitude towards music and how he composes. I love the idea how he composes, because it's completely opposite for Ensiferum. Because Markus always, he starts from melodies. He sits on the sofa and watch soap opera or something, and go, oh, that's a good melody, and then he started to work on that and make it something grandeur. But Tuomas is, he has a story. He has an idea of something that he starts to compose to that, and that's something I really love. And I think that's closer to my solo project also. Like, I have ideas, and then it's like I take my guitar and headphones on and start just playing riffs, or I start finding synthesizer sounds or something that kind of fits. So it's a totally different approach. And I totally lost again what we were talking about. The 3 albums. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm just waiting until you spill all your deepest secrets to me, because you just keep on talking. But then it's totally fine. You know, I mean, we will use a long version for online. You know, we'll have it cut down for the show, and then we always provide the full thing online. Yeah. So the show is called What's Metal? Yeah, I mean, what is metal? Is there a definition that you would have for us, or is there a description that you could give us?
I don't think I'm gonna fall for this and try to narrow it down to something. It's one of these things, I dare to say, like, people who are inside the metal culture can kind of generally say, what is it? Like, but then again, especially with the older you get, you start to see the shades of gray in life. I guess when you're younger, it's part of kind of growing up, I guess, that there needs to be like, it's easy to say like, this is what belongs here and that doesn't. It's much easier to do this kind of separation. And I have to say, metalheads are, I would say, the most tolerant people in the world, generally speaking. Like all the metal festivals in Finland, they all the police always say those are the most peaceful. There are never fights. No one gets robbed. If someone is too drunk, they help to the emergency, whatever, Red Cross tent or whatever. They're most peaceful. So that's what and same, come on, Wacken and Hellfest and everything. It's always, people are super friendly. It's always, there's this feeling of belonging together. And I guess that's what's very unique about metal culture. I mean, it shows outside. Well, check out, like, you have guys in black metal mask and blood or whatever on stage, and you have huge mosh pits and Jesus is a cunt shirt and stuff like that. Very aggressive, very rebellious kind of stuff. But then again, you have the same people. Yeah, you can have hours and hours of conversation about, like, animal rights, or, you know, talking about good cheese and whatever. So it's
I get what you.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's impossible. It would be stupid to try to narrow it down into a few sentences what it is, because who am I? I'm not an author to say, because it's to say like that is metal and that's not metal.
I think these are very good closing comments, actually. Yeah, like who are you to make that definition? Okay, I would agree, actually. I don't think that we ever got that type of answer in, I don't know, like, since when are we doing this? 25 years or something? Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, okay, so thanks a lot for the interview. It was a pleasure, and good luck on stage. Okay.
Thank you very much.